any process that encourages a nation to destabilize other nations is not acceptable. We should not entertain and encourage that kind of attitude. And the challenges that the African continent is facing, a population of 1.4 billion people, 70% of them below the age of 35, is something that we need to look at very critically. And we are not going to find good solutions if we are constantly in a state of instability in the continent. Therefore, we need to condemn any form of interventions that creates instability in the region from all spheres. The African security architecture, the framework that we look at, and my colleague has touched on it, the private security undertakers, and I've used the word deliberately, that is undertakers, in every sense of the word, are actually causing havoc because they are not accountable to anybody. It's about what resources they're able to obtain out of these interventions. Now, people who are no longer accountable to any authority, they're there for purely a commercial engagement, are extremely dangerous in terms of the stability of the nations that we talk about. So I strongly feel that the global community needs to take this extremely seriously, because we will not be able to move and face the challenges on the African continent with this continued instability. Over 500 million people in Africa are facing a challenge in one way or the other arising from these conflicts. Whether you're looking at Sudan, Somalia, South Sudan, the Sahel region, all these areas, the Central Africa, we are having a real crisis on our hands. More mouths require feeding. I think it's estimated close to 60% of that population is now facing food insecurity. Children are not going to school. There's no medical support and so forth. So we need to look at this more holistically so that we can have a rules-based society that will enable governments that are elected to come in and do their best. There's nothing that can replace democratic processes. We need to work towards that. And therefore, I just want to say that we should not encourage any form of aggression in the context of the kind that we saw in Ukraine. Well, part of the challenge we face is that it's the resources that are bound in this region. So really, when you talk of the new scramble for Africa, it's precisely that. So Africa is beginning to face a lot of proxy battles for critical minerals and other resources that are being sought for in this particular region. And I think there's a call that we need to make, that there's also need to respect African institutions. The African Union, the East African Community, the ECOWAS, you can name these economic regional blocs, because we're also seeing a process where the unilateralism is beginning to undermine the very institutions that are African. And therefore, for us to be able to resolve various political crises internally through dialogue is being undermined in many different stages. And this is prolonging the process of conflict. And as I said, it is extremely costly. Terrorism and all other forms of challenges that come with it are beginning to really take their toll on the African continent. So we need to strengthen African institutions and work with them so that they can become more effective in resolving some of the crises that we have.